When you get to the top, oh, the haters come out. Oh, my God. Jay Adonde is here. We had a little technical difficulty. We'll work it out. Even if it's not synced up right now, on the visual side, we can all hear each other, and we'll keep going. J.A., give a welcome to Keiana Williams, goes by Key, making her brother from another debut. And Key, you don't even know this. You are my people, because you said you were able to articulate what I've been saying for a couple of weeks. I just wanted I just wanted them to manhandle San Francisco. I couldn't wait for it. And before it happened, you said, you told your audience, don't worry about it. Philadelphia is a superior team. So when do you think other folks like Julian Love, like Jerry Jones will catch up to what you already know, that Philadelphia has got it like that?
Honestly, I think it's just divisional rival denial. It's as simple as that. I mean, for Jerry Jones to compare the Eagles to the Rams, the Eagles have a homegrown team that they've given out friendly contracts to, still have plenty of draft capital. And then Julian saying anyone could coach the team, it's a hater comment. I'm sorry. I mean, you have to give Nick Sirianni credit where it's due. They've talked all year about how it's the system, but who implements the system? Coaches do that, So it just sounds like a lot of bias going around.
And by the way, Jay, I didn't give out her publication. No, so we say Philadelphia Eagles. Like when the insiders, right? The people call it the Eagles. They call them the Eagles. So Eagles.com. So I'm sorry, just wanted to give you the proper intro. So Jay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I want to ask someone who does follow the Eagles closely, looking at it from the outside, as you go through the schedule, they ain't seen nothing quite like Mahomes in Kansas City, right? So a fantastic season thus far, but what can you point to as a signature victory? The one that really stands out and you can look at it and says, this shows what the Eagles are all about.
People might not think it means much because young quarterback, but I really do think it was that win over Pittsburgh, because before that, you would have performances where one side of the ball was more so dominant than the other. You had one game where the defense would show up, one game where the offense would show up. Pittsburgh game at home at the Link was one game where both units just absolutely obliterated Pittsburgh. That game was never in doubt. So I think that was defining. And that's ultimately what, caused them to keep rolling.
So you hang your hat on that. People wonder, okay, how much should we believe in them? Because we haven't seen that much. You can hang your hat on that game against Pittsburgh. Say, watch the tape of that one.
I would say, the Eagles can't really control who they play. There's a lot of defining wins. I would even say the Tennessee win. I would say the first Minnesota win. I know that was a bit earlier on, but, they just play who's in front of them. And reality is they've destroyed almost every team they played in the trenches all year. That to me counts more than really defining a signature win, just more so pointing out how they're beating teams. And I think that's important.
But you know what? I think a signature win, you tell me. I think we just saw it. I know it wasn't against San Francisco, although I do hate, I'm going to say it again. I hate that Brock Purdy got hurt. Because it was coming. Okay, they were about to get it anyway. And so now we all have to pretend like that wasn't going to happen because Purdy got hurt. But nobody told Kyle Shanahan to block Hassan Reddick with a tight end. Ain't nobody tell you to do that. So I gotta apologize because of your blocking schemes and whack. Anyway, I think a signature win, I think, was against the Giants. Giants were coming off a big win against Minnesota. You play the Jets the third time playing a divisional opponent. They know you. They're respectable. They played you well in the last game of the regular season. And you obliterated that. You eviscerated that team. I think that was a signature win. What do you think, Key?
They dismantled the Giants on both sides of the ball. They ran the ball relentlessly. The Giants had no answer for it. Jalen Hurts didn't even have to really drop back and pass the ball a lot because the Eagles' offensive line and run blocking, which is very successful, then the D-line didn't give Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley a chance. So that was definitely signature, especially after a week of narratives hearing about how the Giants were the hot team and they were going to come into Philly and win. And we heard the fake narrative about how it's hard to beat a team 3 times. So it was definitely
fake narrative. Fake. You said, fake. Jay, she said fake. She said fake narrative.
Fake narrative. So in those matchups, the home team generally wins the third game.
3 times in a row. That wasn't fake, right? The Eagles have, and I say with the E, forgive me, I'm not from Philadelphia, but the Eagles have an unmatched tradition of black quarterbacks. You go back to Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, now Jalen Hurts. Any particular reason? Can you point to a thread that connects this franchise with all these black quarterbacks, or is it just be like that sometimes?
I just think it's a coincidence and just how it worked out. I mean, I know when they drafted McNabb, they had a lot of ideas of him being the future. I think with Michael Vick, though, it was more so of a situation. He was McNabb's backup at the time, and he was the quarterback on the roster to succeed him. And Jalen Hurts was drafted with the intention to potentially back up Carson Wentz, but then became the guy. So one guy was drafted to be that guy. The other two guys, more so of a coincidence. Randall, you could also kind of say similar boat as Five.
And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be making this up, fact check me somebody. Wasn't Rodney Peete there back in the day? Was he there as a backup?
He was initially a backup, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodney Peete was from Philadelphia. So,
yeah.
Yeah, there's another one. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it goes back.
Yeah, it goes back, and I'm glad. And it's significant. There's something there because a lot, I mean, look at the rest of the league. It's not a coincidence if Philadelphia has it. And the rest of the league, historically, there are some franchises who have never had a black quarterback start a game. As a matter of fact, we can figure that out. We should figure out like how many franchises have never had a black quarterback start a game. Probably is a longer list than we think. But I want to ask you about this. A team that does have a black quarterback is your opponent, Key, coming up in the Super Bowl 57, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Best quarterback in football. You agree with that? First of all, before I go, you agree that he's the best quarterback in football? Okay. I'm just checking. I want to see how deep the partisanship goes. They haven't. The Eagles obviously haven't faced anybody like that all year. How do you think that matchup is going to play out in Arizona?
It's going to be very interesting because even though 2 weeks will have passed since the Chiefs last played, a high ankle sprain is a 4 to 6 week injury. Generally could be a month or 2, 3 months if it's not really handled correctly. So Patrick Mahomes is still going to be in probably a decent amount of pain come that time, which means if the Eagles can find some way to either spy him successfully or keep him in the pocket, there's a good chance they can get pressure on him and take him down. The Eagles have 4 guys on the D-line with 10 sacks or more. So this is going to be the best D-line the Chiefs have faced all year. It will absolutely be a challenge. I will say that, Chiefs got some wide receiver injuries, definitely makes the things a bit easier for their cornerbacks. The Eagles' biggest priority is just spying Mahomes and just keeping an eye on the middle of the field so Travis doesn't eat him up. But it's doable. They just have to keep him inside and not let him scramble.
Yeah, I'm a little torn on something because on one hand, if Mahomes wins, now he's got multiple, plural Super Bowl championships and he ascends, and now we can really start having those conversations about where he ranks among the all-time greats, right? But if the Eagles and Jalen Hurts wins, it's another black quarterback who has won a Super Bowl, and Mahomes is so exceptional. This makes it more relatable, I think, right? Like you're not going to get another Mahomes, but you can find there's Jalen Hurts is out there to be found and had if you give them the chance, right? So for the culture, what would be a better victory between these two black quarterbacks?
This might sound a little bit biased, but I still have to say Jalen Hurts would be a better victory, only because not just being a black quarterback, but because the adversity he went through in college, being benched, and then coming to Philly. You hear all about Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts can't throw. This draft pick was a mistake. And then look what he does. He goes out there. He puts together a fantastic season, not just because of the roster, but because he took the leap and the extra steps to make that move. So to me, it's just as good of a story as Mahomes winning a second, if not better.
And in addition to that, a second-round pick brought in when Carson Wentz was seen as a franchise quarterback. And as recently as last year, there were some questions about Jalen Hurts. I know got to the playoffs and you lost to the Buccaneers, but there were people wondering, okay, is he the guy? Is he the guy? This year we find out if he's the guy. And this year, not only is he an MVP candidate, his head coach after a game compares him to Michael Jordan, J.A. Adonde, drops the MJ reference. So all that being said, Key, before we let you go, don't just give us a prediction. tell us how the game's gonna go. Just give me sometimes maybe you see the game already. You see the game play out in your head and you know who's gonna win and how. So share it with us.
So in my mind and how I've thought about it multiple times is that the Eagles dominate on both sides of the ball with the offensive and defensive lines. Chris Jones, he's really good. He's really talented. Has not seen an offensive line like the Eagles all year. Eagles have been able to shut down very good defensive ends and defensive tackles this year. Also see on the other side of the spectrum, Eagles D-line relentless, going to get through to that Chiefs offensive line. I have it as a 28-21 win. I just think that the Eagles' trenches are going to be too much, and they're going to be able to run the ball all over Kansas City.
My only problem
you're right.
with that,
we're so obsessed with the quarterbacks, but I think you're right. This is about what happens up front.
You know what, J.A. and Key, my only problem is with what Key just said is the score. I mean, if they're going to do all that, 28-21 should make you nervous. If they're going to do all that, it should be 35. It should be 37-21, 38-21. All these things, they got all these advantages. Why don't they win by a touchdown? Late touchdown. They're up 28-14. Chiefs score with about 47 seconds to play. Go for an onside kick. They don't get it. And the game appears to be closer than it is. Is that how? Because otherwise, it shouldn't be that close.
It'll be close because, like you said earlier, the Eagles have not seen a quarterback like Mahomes all year. Even with that high ankle sprain, he's still going to be very good, and he's still going to give them every chance to win. I'm not really as concerned about the wide receivers, just as more so him making Houdini plays. And I have a running joke where every time I say the Eagles aren't going to blow a team out, they end up blowing a team out. So here's hoping.
Okay. All right. Well, Key, hey, thanks for joining us here. It's been a great debut. You always have an open invitation to return to Brother from Another, and we'll see how it turns out. So far, you've been pretty prophetic. Your predictions been I read it after the fact, like, oh, she was right on the money. Right on. You called the San Francisco game. All people had to do was read your work. They would have known what would have happened in the game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very confident about this Super Bowl for sure. Thank you so much for having me too.
Oh, we feel it. We feel the confidence. All right. See you later. Phoenix. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.